welcome to our conversation between you and me. And we're so glad that you joined us, and that you're kind of interested as to what we're going to be talking about. Well, today we're headed towards the winter, so we're going to discuss, why snowbirds go south for the winter.
We know why they go south, for sure.
Here we do. If you lived in a cold climate, it's easier to explain. If you live in a warm climate in the south, you experience winter, maybe you get a lot more rain, or you get maybe a 1 or 2 snow days during the season. I mean, that's really nice, but the poor snowbirds up north, I tell you, they get it every day, and it's going to be starting here.
Yes, it's predictions, Angie, for tomorrow are at least 3 inches of snow. Of course, it could be melted because we're kind of at the time frame where you never know. It could have 70 in the morning and 20 at night.
That's exactly right.
In Wisconsin, and that's where we're at.
But it's all associated with the cold. We know that. We just hate the cold and the mess that snow makes in its various stages. And so I've written several columns, I think, over the years about tackling the snow problem. And my husband and I, we never went south for the winter.
You just moved there permanently.
Yes.
After you retired.
We did retire.
You really went south.
Yes, we did retire.
Yes.
Good thing we did.
Yeah.
But anyway, so for us, there we were. We're in the middle of it. We're waiting for the snow to start, and I used to write about I can never get warm enough in the winter time. I go to people's houses and it's cold, and they have sweaters and turtlenecks on, and I hate big bulky stuff.
Because everybody's trying to save a dime on heat, truly.
That's
Especially
true.
nowadays.
That's true, but boy, it just gives you a point to complain about, I guess. That's the way it is. But I think that, the cold is a big thing. And
up here we tend to get, in different areas, we are more, it's a damp cold. Now, if you get further up north, what we call up north is northern Wisconsin here, and they get a lot more snow, but it's not as damp. It isn't, because I've lived in both places. When you were snuggling down there in Alabama, I was snuggling up north Wisconsin. What were we thinking? I don't know. But I think it had to do with my husband racing sled dogs. But
they really got into winter.
Yes, he really did.
Yeah,
let's put it that way. But it can be lethal too, because I could remember one of my friends not too long ago. She was coming out, and now we're all elderly people, and she was coming out of one of the Packer games in Green Bay, and she was very happy because they won and everything, because there was a time where they were winning. But so she went to her car and just slipped and fell, hit her head, and that was dangerous. I mean, she's pretty close to 80, and it took her a while she did recover. She's okay, but it took a while to recover. So it can be, things like that could happen.
I know I always lamented about even though we had winter, we would have a January thaw. And you'd think, well, that would be a good thing. It's a little warmer and nicer and melts and stuff. But boy, it just contributes to the danger. And we start getting slush. I remember a couple of years ago wrote a column about slush. And, it's not snow. And it's not, it's part snow. And it's part water. Because it's melting kind of.
And it sticks to your tires.
Everything, yeah.
Like under the fender. there? Remember the fender?
Well, you know, you go down the road and you hear this big thump
Yeah.
in the road, you know, and you know that you've dropped a great big huge slab of slush because
You know,
it's so heavy.
I would say I'm a terrible person, because I would, if I went shopping or something, I look at the back of my fenders and I kick that snow off in the parking lot.
Because you're carrying that like
Yeah,
baggage,
and
everybody.
it just feels like I want to get rid of it, you know.
And you know, I remember one time, and it had included this in account that I was in a parking lot, and in the wintertime, and my car, it was slushy, and in the January thaw, and I just kept going around and around. I couldn't get the car to go straight.
Really?
And I thought, well, I'm going to be stuck here all night. I'm going to freeze right into the car.
Why couldn't you get the car?
I don't know. I'm just,
that's
you
so
know,
funny.
I never did like driving on snow and ice.
Oh,
and
you
so-
mean it was slippery?
Well, it was, you know, slushy, and so it
slippery
just
is-
wouldn't let me go. I mean, well, if people slide with
funny.
slush,
Yes.
cars do too.
Yes.
I hate to tell you, but
They do.
I'm
yes.
sure I looked really weird. You know, probably people thought, "What is that woman doing wheelies there in the parking lot?" You know, going around in circles. But those things happen to me. I tell you, they do. But you know, we've known snow since we were kids. You know, when we were in grade school. You know, and we'd walk to school. I mean, they didn't cancel school too much with the snow.
Oh, no.
Because it's just snow. Walk through the snow.
And the kids walked, and we had to wear skirts all the time in those years. What was the only time you could wear slacks?
A special thing. Play day.
No. When there was snow, you could
Oh,
wear
that's
snow pants under
Oh,
snow pants under your dress.
I know. My mother was a real champion of snow pants.
Yes.
And
mine
the
was
thing
too.
is, when you got it to school, you know, they're kind of wet at the bottom, you know, where around your boots and stuff, because if you're going through fairly heavy snow. And so you hang them up in your locker or on the hook or whatever. And if you're going home for lunch, you still have wet.
And you
snow
did have,
pants.
and we did walk home for lunch in those years
I
too. I mean,
know,
you
yeah.
generally lived. I did. Yeah, it sounds like you did too, close enough to a school. Unless you were out on a farm and they brought you
Yeah, that's
in,
right,
because we did have that in our school as well. But also we had galoshes. Anybody even know what a galoshes are? I'll bet you a lot of people don't even know what galoshes are, Angie.
Well, they're like rain boots versus snow boots, aren't they? I mean, big and
They're just another word for a stupid boot that
Yeah,
seems too
right.
big for you. That
too big, yeah.
that it would maybe there was a little thing well, I think they zipped up in our years. I think they actually had zippers on them.
Yeah. But you know, you always had that gap, and so when you're out in the snow and have to go somewhere or something, it seems to me I remember my mother putting little bags on her shoes,
Sure.
like
I
bread
think-
bags.
I think I remember that too periodically.
So your shoes and your
Why?
socks wouldn't get damp, you know,
Yeah.
and so
Did we do that under our galoshes, or because I do remember that happening?
yes.
And I don't know, why would we need the plastic bag or something if we had boots on? I don't remember
because the
all
boots
exact-
were roomy, you know. I mean,
Oh,
they
yeah,
didn't
they
come
were.
tight around your ankle.
Yeah.
They just were.
That's
you know,
why
I
we
would
were called
describe them like
galoshes, I guess, because they were,
I would describe them as rain boots. You know,
Yeah.
just kind of floppy here and there, but
Mm-hmm.
that was it. But no, I mean, so I think as people get older, they think, well, all right, and especially if they're retired, you know, they can do
Yes.
more things. Let's just go south for a few months or whatever, rent a condo someplace or some place, and enjoy the weather, you know. And so it's really neat taking the trip down there. You know?
It is. It's fun. We would go here and there, and I can remember couple of things. I remember it because we always drove, and so all of a sudden we'd start watching how warm it got. You know, like we'd be in Tennessee. Oh my gosh, it's 60 degrees. For us, that was quite warm. You know, and hopefully that was the case. And most years it was. But one year we went down, and there was the storm of the century. And I remember hearing that in the middle of the night because we were going to get up like at 3 in the morning and leave. So I'm listening to it. I'm in bed. My husband's listening to the news, and I hear storm of the century, and I'm going, oh, you know. But we don't have to worry because we're from Wisconsin, right? We can handle snow. So if we get a few inches, we're not worried about it. So we take off, and it's fine. We get down, we start driving, and we're just starting. The big flakes are coming down in Tennessee. And there was a stop we always made. I can't remember the name of the town, but it was somewhere before Nashville. Maybe I think it was just after Nashville or something. And then we'd stop and we'd spend the night. So we got there, it's snowing, we spend the night. We get up in the morning and the whole parking lot is full of cars because they had closed down the highway right there. Good thing we stopped when we did. You couldn't go south any further. So because we were from Wisconsin, we thought, well, we can handle this. We went back north. I think we went back north to Nashville, then over to Memphis, and then down to Alabama that way. You know?
And a long way to Florida.
Oh, it was. It took. I don't think we should have arrived. I don't know.
I think
5 hours sooner, but.
Most of us in the Midwest or Northeast or whatever, where you get the tons of snow, that you made that trip sometime or another during winter, and I know I agree with Donna. You think, well, if you're getting south, it's gonna be great. We're not gonna have to worry because we'll leave the snow behind us. Well, that doesn't always happen. I remember when we had snowstorm in Alabama, and pine trees are falling down, and people were stranded, and we cooked our meals in the fireplace, So
And they don't get
it
rid
was
of the
like
snow.
the old days, I mean, when the heat went off or the electricity went off or something, but
And don't they have difficulty getting rid of the snow down there?
well, yeah, you don't expect it. I mean, like I say, it's maybe 1 or 2 days or something like that, and but it's a big deal,
Yeah.
I remember my editor years ago would say, "Well, why don't you run over to Piggly Wiggly? I heard that a lot of their shelves are empty. People are just buying stuff like nobody's business," and so I went over there, and there no bread, no milk, I mean, it was just, it was like they were going out of business or something, but that's how it is. There's, in here,
They hear snow and they get scared, right?
well, yeah, because it's an unusual thing, so you don't know if it's going to be big or little. And so we all have stories about that, don't we? I mean, you can remember sometime when you've gone through, a little bit more snow than you figured in the south, or a little bit more snow than you figured in the north,
That's right.
But I remember that in the north, the mounds of snow around the intersections
It's
were
dangerous.
just huge.
Yes.
I mean, you
Yeah.
almost like want to get out of the car to see if another car
Yes.
is coming. I mean, that's
Yeah,
how dumb it
it could
was.
be, yes, it could be very dangerous. For years, we lived up north, Wisconsin, and my son had a exchange student, and he was from Thailand. So he came up and stayed for a whole week with us, which was kind of fun for him because he was so excited about walking on water, frozen water, and he had a smile on his face the whole time he was there because he really had fun with the snow, which he never sees.
Well, it's just like the little kids in the south, when there is a snow, they have to get enough snow to make a
Yes.
snowman.
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
like, they they take all the snow off the lawn, making this one snowman, and there would be, you know, pictures of them in the paper, so cute and everything. But you know, it's an event, you know, for
It is,
them. For
definitely
us,
is.
it's a way of life.
Right, and the further north you get, as I say, Eagle River, Wisconsin, Phelps, Wisconsin, I lived in both of those for a while after we did retire up there. And in one year, it was middle of April, Easter. My granddaughter always spent her Easters with us, and it was quite funny because she came up to, like, you know, you're expecting spring and the smell and all wonderful things happening, but there were 22 inches of snow on the ground when she came up, and yet it was April, so, you know, it could be 70 degrees, and I'm going, what do I put this kid in? Should I put her in snowsuit or a swimming suit? I really wasn't sure. I chose the snowsuit though, but it was weird. It was strange.
I'm sure, you know, some of you that are listening to us, that you are one of the snowbirds, you know.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, we always, if we went to Disney World or something, we always went, you know, at Easter vacation, and that was pretty much when the snow was still on the ground. That, you know, you met all these people from Canada. I mean, you know, they drove all the way down, and you know,
they get it pretty cold there too. You know, I mean, they're probably worse than even.
But I mean, it's
Wisconsin.
and then they got the name Snowbirds. I mean, you know,
Yes.
okay, that means you're flying away from this
Well,
flaky stuff.
Yes, yes.
And you want to bask in the sun, you know, and I think it's kind of neat, you know, to do that. But it is a challenge. I mean, you know, all the packing you have to do
yes.
for how long. You have to stop the mail. You have to do this. You have to do that. And but if you have relatives down there, that's
that
even
makes it
easier.
But,
Yeah.
but it's not cheap to do this either. I mean, we kind of stopped after a while because, you know, it was just very expensive to go down and rent somewhere. And generally you want to be on the beach. We're okay with it being 65 degrees and sunny because we still walk on the beach. All the snowbirds will walk on the beach down there and just enjoy it. I mean, for us, it's warm, and that's why we go. And now we notice that some people that go down south and they stay, some even move down south, but they come back eventually because the relatives are here or their kids are still here because they're still working. But then soon you've come back and now your kids start talking about what, Angie?
Retirement.
And what happens in
Let's get out of
retirement up here? Let's get the heck out of the cold, right? It's kind of a whole circle of life we've decided. But
Right.
will we be
You know, when you're young, you want to experience all the different
Yes.
seasons. I mean, when I was young, if I never experienced winter, that would be, you just don't know that much about it. But you like to have something new happening to you. So when the leaves fall, and then the snow comes, you know, life changes for you, and
Yes.
we all have our really weird stories about stuff that's happened to us during the winter, whether it's a warm winter or it's a cold winter. Those things happen just different. I know in the South, friends of mine would say, "Can you imagine there was a guy walking around with shorts on and flip flops,
from Wisconsin,
and
I'm sure.
it was, you know, like what, 30 or 40 degrees out,
Yeah.
you know, and you know, no sweater, no coat or anything. But you know, living in the South, you just don't need as much stuff. You don't.
And that's kind of a blessing in and of itself. But yeah, it is funny because you do see if in February, if it happens to hit 50 degrees or something here, everybody's out in shorts, and I mean, it's just like, it's so warm out.
It must be a wishful thing.
Well,
That,
no, it
okay, if
is
we put something
warm.
on that's summery, it will immediately get there. Well, it won't. But anyway, you think about your stories that you remember from a childhood up north or a
And let us
childhood
know.
down south, making your first snowman, whatever it happens to be, and it's a great thing. I mean, it's a pleasurable thing for your day, and we hope that you will, you know, come up with some of those kind of ideas for yourself. We appreciate your viewing this day, and we hope you will continue to. Please subscribe if you'd like. We would love to have you. And let us know if there's some particular subject or
Yes.
some particular column that I've written in the past that you always thought was so funny you'd like to expand on. Let
Or
us
just
know.
anything you want to talk about.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
So remember, it's always between you and me.